Colston was, yes, he was a slave trader, but that's not why he was honoured with a statue. It was for his philanthropy. But then Bristol did become wealthy on the slave trade, and some means probably ought to be found to acknowledge that with some other public monument to testify to the sufferings of the slaves. But of course it was slavery in Africa long before the Europeans got in on the act, and it continued for long after, well into the 20th century, which it doesn't excuse it, but the British in particular were instrumental in getting rid of the slave trade. Which brings us to Black Lives Matter. Now that's seeing the results of the corona statistics, one might have thought that old lives matter, but clearly they don't. I can't see any demonstrations of old people beating the police around the head with their Zimmer frames, but there. Black Lives Matter is clearly a Marxist organisation. We don't need to look further than the website to see that when they talk about oppressions. There is black oppression. Black people have been treated badly, but that's not what these organisations are about. Primarily they're a product of what's called cultural Marxism, and that's been discussed now. It's come to prominence a bit more than it had been. It's derived from the ideas of Marcuse and Adorno and Gramsci. Gramsci's interesting because he talks about hegemonies, and of course there's a hegemony now which is pushing a neo-Marxist agenda. You can use the theory against itself. But normally they work on finding oppressions, the more the better. I can think of about half a dozen oppressions that I couldn't notch up to my credit, so I've got credentials. But the oppressions are based on real injustices, which are allowed to fester. The right never addresses them. Now, as a physiocrat, I'm no supporter of capitalism, but the left-wing approach of smashing capitalism is not a way forwards.